Hello and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is Monday, February 16th, and doing this a little earlier in the day than I normally do, but just have the day off and I don't really expect to play too much today, but got a little done over the weekend, so kind of wanted to knock out a video, just kind of going over it. So where we had left off was specifically we'd gotten the space elevator running. This thing is definitely a beast for how much Infinity it pulls off. As you see, it kind of goes back and forth still on being able to run. I did not get around to setting up a faster passive version for all the Nequata drills, so that is just kind of the limiting factor at the moment. But I will say it's not bad. If we type in Infinity, you can kind of get a spoiler of what the rest of this, but yeah, 217,000 catalyst, only 3 dust. I may have to throw a limiter on this at some point if the dust becomes a problem, because I do use the dust in the biovat recipes. If we go over here, I use it. Not this one. Not even this one, actually. It is this guy is the one I use for my raw biocatalyst. So it's just something to keep an eye on at the moment. I'm not sure what will be expected me as the game goes on. Oh, I didn't mean to do raw. If we just do biocatalyst, we're at 40 million, so we have a decent amount of backlog. But I'm also not really mass producing UEV circuits yet, so just kind of something for me to keep an eye on, be aware of. But yeah, so this guy is running great because, I mean, if you think about it, for the Infinity Catalyst in particular, 217,000. This is 64 dust by itself, so quite a bit more dust than where I was like struggling at before. So this is awesome. So really the only thing I ended up getting done for the weekend though was I wanted to basically get passive Infinity. So I kind of had a couple different ideas in my head. I originally was going to do it over here, but ultimately what I settled on was this little setup here, which is pretty basic. But if we look at actual Infinity Ingot in here, and how it's crafted, it's over in the extreme crafting. We need cosmic neutronium, Infinity Catalyst, and crystal matrix ingots. And then you throw them into a dire crafting table, and boom, we get out the ingot. So now, what we got going on here is basically we've got 2 different processes coming together and then ultimately filtering up into the dire table. And I will say I went through a couple iterations specifically where this dire table sat and how to input items into it. And this is what I settled on. Over here is pretty basic. We got a compressor. We just throw in diamonds in here. And actually, I'm thinking about it. What is my diamond situation look like? Pretty bad. So I also need to think about that. As a 16K diamond's not great because I started the weekend off with 1 million. Food for thought. So yeah, my diamonds come in here, get compressed. I end up going with a multi-block cutting machine because all these blocks are ZPM because I didn't want it to go that fast, at least for the moment. And eventually I'll probably, unless there's a different way to get Infinity, I would eventually swap all these for multi-block versions to go faster when able to keep up. But for the moment, went with this, except for the cutting machine, because the cutting machine was very much limiting on this whole process because it was, if we had the single block version, which is what I originally threw down, it took 6.5 seconds for 1 block to get cut versus now this is like easily able to keep up. It's more fast enough than I'll need. And then all gets fed over here. Obviously, that's the diamond plates. On this side, we've got coming in stainless steel, turning into rods, rods turning into steel bars. They get exported over here into the forming press, which makes our diamond lattice, which then goes up into the assembly machine with some nether stars, and we get our crystal matrices. And then if we look over here, nether star, I think we are down quite a bit. Again, I was at roughly 200,000 at the start of the weekend, and it's down to 40. And I will say, I actually let this run overnight. I completely forgot I had it running. I thought I had shut it down. So we're actually seeing like a good, like long term what's happening to my resources with just doing this process. And then obviously these combine into the crystal matrix. Originally they all went up into here. The problem is though that Infinity Catalyst is actually like the easiest thing by far. And if you just have all the items exporting into the direwolf table, it doesn't like there's no way to, as far as I can tell, there's no way to keep it to a single stack in here just naturally by importing. So eventually it would just overclog with Infinity Catalyst and nothing else goes in and you stop getting the passive resource. So just went with a voltage regulator. You just set what slot you want it to go into the direwolf table and or dire table, and you type or you put in how much it needs to export. So these are the amounts needed for the recipe: 10, 24, 11, slots 1, 2, and 3, and boom, simple as that. And with that running all weekend, I believe right at like 6,000 Infinity Ingots. The main limiting factor is the cosmic neutronium, but as we can see, if this was keeping up, I would eventually run out of nether stars and or diamonds as well. So like this limiting is preventing the other two from running out. And the main reason this is limited, because I did do one other thing to try to speed up the amount of cosmic neutronium I was getting, and that is over here in my, this building, where I have the passive volcanuses. I set up 16 that are exclusively cosmic neutronium. But if you're noticing, only 2 of them are currently running. That's because I've run out of blazing pyrithium. Even with my B and having it on a level maintainer, it's not able to keep up. So that's another resource that's getting hampered. But if that was keeping up, like I said, my diamonds or my nether stars would be running out. So a bunch of passive stuff to kind of shore up. The blazing pyrithium will be the easiest. It's just a little, you can't even say time consuming. I just got to do a couple monotonous things. Basically, I get that mostly from bees right now. And essentially, I just need to add another amp to this guy over here. And it might even be simpler. Instead of just expanding the number of energy hatches like this, I might just bump this up to UHV. And then I can't remember the numbers offhand. I assume it doubles. So if my inventory is currently with 3 amps, what do I have going on for the inventory? How many spaces do I have left? No spaces. I don't remember how many are in here currently, but either way, it should double whatever I have if I just swap to UHV, which we're able to keep up with the power there. And then that'll get my blazing pyrithium back. And then for the nether stars and diamonds, I'll probably have to set up a mining module over here. I think it's just the smartest way to go about it. That'll explicitly go for diamond, or I assume I can get that from the space elevator. Diamond ore, space mining, steel, so it's really cheap. Mark 1 module, Mark 1 mining. So even if I go all the way up to a Mark 6, yeah, I think this is just tungsten, which we also have just piles of. Yeah, 1.2 million. We'll see if it's able to keep up after I do this. But I think the next mining one I'll do is specifically for diamonds, so I do not run out of that, because I don't want that to suddenly be an issue. And then nether stars. I'm not exactly sure how I'll go about that one yet. Like I said, I got one of the passive things I set up the other day because I was running out of nether stars with this whole setup, but it's currently not running. So actually, I know how I will do it. It's the only reason this is not running is because I don't have enough Salus Mundus, wherever that is over here. Yeah, I only have 3, and I believe that is over in my Alvery as well. So I'll double the space of the Alvery, add a bunch of blazing pyrithium, add a bunch of Salus Mundus bees. That'll shore that up. shore up the diamonds, and then Infinity should be rolling. I will say, because one of the things I was kind of excited to look at this morning before I realized I was going to run out of a bunch of resources is, well, all 16 of those guys were running. It obviously used a bunch of power, which we can afford now, but I was gaining on cosmic neutronium. So even though I was making this slow process is actually just slow enough that I still also gain on cosmic neutronium. And worst case, if I had to do it, the way I would like limit it, like do like a level emitter on this would be, it wouldn't even be that hard, because I can do a level emitter right on this guy and have this respond only to a redstone signal. So if like the network shows less than 10,000 or something, not have this be able to take out the cosmic neutronium. So I might do something like that anyways, just because it's annoying to wait on cosmic neutronium for crafts and stuff when I'm trying to get, or I'm trying to actually like build stuff. So that might be a really simple way to fix it. And I have plenty of channels over here. There's nothing, these buildings are, it runs smooth on this computer, but if I'm playing on my other computer, these buildings with the amount of stuff that's going on in them are far too laggy to build any more processes in here, unfortunately. So I'm not too worried about wasting channels over here. And then the last thing, very last thing I did, but I haven't grabbed yet because I always like to do it on the little videos, is because so actually, I should say, is so we did all this, and then just because, so I wouldn't have to wait on it, we got, if I type in Infinity, you see we got 64 of these, which I already did claim this thing, so there's no trophy going to pop up, but we got our 64 blocks of Infinity, which is awesome. I'll probably melt those down because I don't think I use actual Infinity blocks for anything. I'm sure there's something, but then the last thing, well, actually, before we get one last thing before we get there. So I did craft the space assembler, and I noticed the space assembler. I want to do this. I noticed this recipe. I might want to set one of these guys up, because that way I can start upping the battery capacity of a bunch of my supercapacitors. I also want to rerun how my power is, but I feel like I'm really close to wireless, so I'm trying to fight the urge to do that because I don't want to invest a bunch of time if I'm going to be able to fix it even better here shortly anyways. But just a minor note. But yeah, the very last thing I did and wanted to do today, before I kind of game plan how I'm progressing forward, which is going to be shore up resources, and I think work towards the mothership is the next big goal for this week. As I think I want to get space exploration done, set up void miners on the 2 planets that need them, specifically to get dilithium, and whatever's on the Seth planet seem to be the main one that the quest books recommend. If we go here we got Nubis Horus. Yeah, we go. Never has dilithium, which this will fix our tier 6 water, so it essentially never fails. We needed a dilithium lens. We currently just fail that step of it every time. And then last but not least will be Seth, get this raw 10 gram, because apparently that is something we need and we don't just get from space mining. Yeah. So without being further ado, let us not officially move on to UV, but unlock the UEV tab. That's exciting. I find that really exciting. We are moving along at a good clip, and look at this. Tab 4 from the end. So that's exciting. I'm excited about it. And highly recommend this plaque to anyone who's not playing it. It just seems to get funner as I go. So yeah, I hope everybody has a good Monday, and I will be back and probably doing the video at normal later time the rest of the week. Hope you have a good day. Goodbye.